Hello. Listen to those sounds. I felt the itch to record something. And it seems to happen this way frequently, where something comes through. I feel like I have something to say. There's just an observation that feels exciting to share, and then I sit down to record and it's just gone. I'm trying too hard to get it to come back. What were the words that I just had? I explained it. It was so eloquent and beautiful in my mind, like 15 minutes ago, and then it's just sort of gone, dispersed. I mean, it's still kind of there. Maybe it'll come back. I don't know. I was just considering how just noticing in myself, and so considering how readily we are trained into performance. And all of this is observed without judgment. This is just, I'm just noticing that yeah, all of this YouTube stuff is a social experiment for me. Maybe social experiment isn't exactly the right word. It's an experiment in examining consciousness and unconsciousness, and how can we form genuine connection? How can we have real connective experiences that are at this deeper level? And even though it seems like there's one person speaking to maybe nobody, because there's nobody physically present as I'm recording this, and it's certainly possible that nobody physically witnesses this. Nobody sees it. So it is really more of a conversation with myself. But in sharing a conversation with myself, I'm realizing, isn't that really what we're doing all the time? Anyway, even if it is face to face, even if there are other people involved, it's still a conversation with myself. It's really not any different. And really the genuine connection is happening when I am engaging with myself. I'm engaging with myself, I am conversing with myself, and I am allowing that expression through. In witness of someone else who might be awake. And really just giving the same permission to any other party that is witnessing. It's not really about me, but it is about me. It's about me and me. It's about me being me, connecting with me. And then of course that is naturally reflected by anyone else within earshot, so to speak. The cat is outside. I'm making sure he doesn't wander too far. Hi, buddy. You want to say hi? This is your favorite thing ever? Yeah. So, anyway, a thing that I notice is how quickly ego responds to reception. And this has been a really interesting practice. Is, when I record something, and it is well received, so to speak. That is to say, there is even a modicum, even a singular instance of what would be called positive reaction. What that feels like, and how ego responds so very immediately to it, and the opposite too. How it responds to a negative reaction, and how it responds to no reaction. And it's so clear how easily programmed it is, how from the very beginning, and again, I'm not judging this, I see how this has played a role in the structure of surface level social interaction, which has been unconscious, and so it's needed to have a structure because it's been unconscious. That's just the way that it's worked here up to this point of evolution. But I see how easily and quickly we are conditioned into performing for one another. When we express something comes through, something that feels natural, something that just comes out, and that is met with a positive response, then it's reinforced, right? You go, oh, that feels good, I'm going to do more of that because that got a positive response. And if it's met with a negative or absence of a response, we very quickly establish this belief. First of all, we feel how that feels at the surface level. We feel how that feels. And in the absence of consciousness guiding us there and saying, let's sit with this feeling without judging it. Let's sit with this feeling without creating a story about it. Let's sit with this feeling without calling it wrong. Because we feel the feeling, the pressure of behaving away and having that behavior met with either negativity or nothingness. And we feel the pressure of that. Ego naturally feels the tension of that. And without consciousness, it doesn't know how to resolve that internally. And so it establishes this belief that something must be wrong. I must have done something wrong. Which can then extend into I must be wrong, of course. They're implicitly tied together. If you have done something wrong without knowing what it is, then certainly you must be wrong. There must be something wrong with you. But this belief is established so early, and it's such a subtle thing, that if I engage in a behavior, I express in a certain way, and that is met with negativity or the absence of response, then something must be wrong. Something is wrong with what I've behaved, the way that I've behaved, what I've said, and so I must curb that behavior. And again, I understand that this had a purpose in surface level social interaction and really just keeping these human bodies alive for long enough that we could come online again, that we could reach this point where we're awakening again and seeing that there's something more magnificent happening here, that we're not a threat to one another, and we don't need to control one another, and we don't need to curb our behavior. When you're really in here, when you're really online, when you, the creator, are present, you behave differently. It doesn't mean you behave in a way that is acceptable to all people. It doesn't mean that at all. In fact, you're very likely to do a lot of things that are very triggering, and a lot of things that society says are not acceptable. But you have this greater awareness and understanding, and you lose the egoic obsession with harm, with threat and defense, you stop trying to control other people. You demonstrate that you are not controlled, that your behavior is not controlled by anyone else, that just because someone responds in a negative way or a neutral way or a positive way, it doesn't mean anything. It's not a threat to you. It doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean anything about them. It just stops mattering. And I don't mean altogether all at once, maybe for some people, certainly. For myself, it's been a slower, more integrative process of seeing how ego responds to these situations and then talking myself through it, just not trying to change anything, but just sitting with emotions that come up and not taking action based upon those emotions, but actually being present with them, seeing that this has been, a misdirection. I learned from an early age how to misdirect. If I feel an uncomfortable emotion like rejection, instead of sitting with that emotion, instead of realizing that what that emotion wants is my attention, not my reaction. It wants my attention. That means me. That means my awareness. That means my presence with that emotion. That space that opens up, that feels like a void, that hurts, doesn't want to be filled by some outside force. It's not about doing something to fill that void, to ameliorate, to make that feel better. It's about filling it with my awareness. That's what that sensation wants. To feel rejection, to feel anger, to feel grief, to feel whatever it is, shame, embarrassment. It wants my full presence. That's what it wants. It wants my attention, not for me to tend to it in this way that it's even the word attention has been stolen and altered to sound like a thing that you have to do. If you give something attention, the mind interprets that as I have to do something with it. No, that's not what attention is. Attention is awareness. It's just being present with it. It's just looking. It's just engaging it fully. What that sensation wants is to be filled with you, to be filled with your awareness, and to fill the space of you. It's this shared expansion. And so it takes the consciousness that you are being present, being conscious with this sensation. And it's like you're holding each other. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. You're not analyzing. You're not trying to understand. You're not trying to change. It's just, this has arisen. Let me sit here. Let me sit with this. That too, this whole sitting with, we think that means thinking about. We think it means contemplation. That's not what it is. It is the absence of contemplation. Intellectual contemplation, at least. You could say it's the pure kind, the true contemplation, which is just observing, which is not thinking, not analyzing, not figuring out, just observing, just sitting with, just experiencing. Everything is experience. That's how we connect. Because that's really what we are. There really isn't anything other than experience. So to connect with something that has arisen within you is to experience it fully, and it's experiencing you simultaneously. It's shared. You are experiencing one another. And so I'm seeing more now that's how this works. That's how we interact It's not about reaction or response. It's about shared experience. Whether that experience appears to be shared between individuals, it starts with the sharing in here, and then it multiplies, it flows out. If I am sharing something by experiencing what what the feeling that has arisen within me, so I am experiencing the experience of this sensation, and then I am doing that and expressing that experience to someone else. Now I'm sharing, and now we're both engaging with ourselves. We're experiencing the experience that is here to experience, and it's grown into this shared thing, this bigger thing that is happening between us. But it's like all of these just interwoven roots. Anyways, I've been observing in myself the reaction of ego to positive, negative, and neutral response to something that is shared. And more and more, I feel sitting with the emotions that arise and not letting them dictate what I then do next. Because for a long time, that's what scripted action is. When we learn from this early age how to behave in a way that is acceptable to others, really what's happening is we're being handed a script. We're being handed a script and asked to play the role of this character. But this script, nothing about that is wrong, by the way. It's just that the script was written by other characters. This script was not written from a higher consciousness by creators. This is a script written by other characters and handed to you, and other characters are saying, here's your role, this is what we do, this is how we interact. And if you subvert the script, the other characters get angry, because they're just playing that part without any real consciousness behind it. Again, none of this is bad. None of this is wrong. None of it is a problem. But how much more interesting it becomes when the script is engaged as a creator. How much more playful, how much levity and joy and novelty and excitement is injected when you as the creator see what's going on here and say, but what if my character did this? Something out of character. What if this character that I'm playing does something totally unexpected, out of character, according to the other characters? How much more fun is that? Now we've introduced spontaneity, new possibility where there wasn't any before. And my character acting out of character is going to shake things up. That's going to have a ripple that spreads system-wide. And it's just fun. It's just fun to play in that way. Now I get to make new, actual, deliberate, creative choices. Because again, that's all this is. This is all an artistic expression that we're engaging in together. A shared artistic expression. And it's easy to fall into a pattern. But what fun it is to be shaken out of that pattern by someone behaving in a way that is out of character. It starts to shake everything awake. Everything that had forgotten that it had that same power to choose, that same power to do something unpredictable. And really none of it is serious. None of it matters. Again, it's all about the experience. That's where the meaning is in having the experience. We're here to have experience. And there is no end to experience. And we introduce more possibility into that experience when we start to awaken and make more unusual creative choices. All of it is a castle in the sand, a mandala drawn in the sand, whatever you want it to be. The sand part is the important part of the metaphor. It's knowing that it's not permanent. It's going to be washed away. And it really is just for fun. What is lasting is the sensation. What is lasting is the experience, is what we learn. And really what we're learning is how good it feels to engage with one another, how good it feels to be life, which is to be love and to be living and loving, how good it feels to be that which we are. We're learning that more deeply. Through everything, through every experience, we're learning that more deeply. That is the lesson. What that feels like, that it feels good, how to do it more deliberately because that feels good. It's not some pilgrim's journey of moral servitude. It's not enlightenment in terms of we're escaping to some other place. It's not any of that. We're not escaping anywhere. It's about being here. It's about being here more and more fully. And how good that feels. Kitty cat. What's he doing? Anyway. Nothing is serious. It is all play. We can't get away from the fact that there are roles to play here, but we can play them playfully in a way that is not following the script. We can throw the script out the window. But it's helpful in guiding us to make new decisions. If we know what it is that we were expected to do, we can start there and say, well, I'm not going to do that. Because that just feels boring. I'm going to do something new. And every time we do something new that isn't a part of the script, new possibilities, new opportunities, new experiences open up. And that's quite fun, isn't it? That's quite fun. Anyway, I think that's about it. I could say other things, but it feels good to end it here. I want to say thank you Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for connecting with yourself. Because only in connecting with yourself can we connect. But really, that's where the magic is. That's where it starts. Where it grows from. And isn't it just a fantastical thing to lock eyes with yourself, to see how magnificent, how wonderful, how magical and mysterious you are? You are a part of this wonder. You are the wonder that is moving through all of it. You can just sit and marvel at yourself. And what a gratifying thing it is to do that. It's what I'm doing. And it is amazing to share that experience. So thank you. Thank you for your willingness to be here fully, not partially, not in a way that is scripted or patterned. Thank you for being conscious, because it's fun, not because it's better. It's not. It's just fun. Thanks for having fun with me. Get out there and have some more. Do something unpredictable. Take it easy.